Time, an ever-present force that shapes our lives, yet it remains one of the most elusive and complex concepts to grasp. We measure it, track it, even try to control it, but what is time, really? Is it just the ticking of a clock or the changing of seasons? Or is it something far deeper, intertwined with our thoughts, emotions, and very existence? In this video, we will explore time from 7 unique perspectives, each offering a different lens through which we can better understand this mysterious force. The first question we must address is perhaps the most fundamental: what is time? Philosophers and scientists have debated this question for centuries, offering various interpretations that reveal the complexity of this seemingly simple concept. Aristotle viewed time as a measure of change, closely linked to motion and events. He famously said, "Time is the number of movement in respect of before and after." St. Augustine of Hippo offered a more introspective view, pondering, "What then is time? If no one asks me, I know what it is. If I wish to explain it to him who asks, I do not know." Augustine saw time as a subjective construct, with the past, present, and future existing only in the mind. Immanuel Kant argued that time is a necessary condition for human perception, asserting that it is not an empirical reality but a framework through which we experience the world. Albert Einstein revolutionized our understanding with his theory of relativity, showing that time is not absolute but relative, depending on the observer's speed and gravitational field. His famous equation, E equals mc squared, suggested that time and space are interconnected, leading to the concept of spacetime. Example: consider the twin paradox, a thought experiment in which one twin travels at near light speed into space while the other remains on Earth. Upon returning, the traveling twin would be younger than the one who stayed behind, illustrating the relative nature of time. Have you ever noticed how time seems to slow down when you're bored but flies by when you're having fun? This brings us to our next question: how do we perceive time? Time perception is a deeply subjective experience, influenced by our emotions, attention, and even our physiological state. William James, often referred to as the father of American psychology, noted that our perception of time is influenced by our emotions and mental state. He observed, "A day full of excitement with all its events crowded together passes far more quickly than a monotonous day full of routine work." David Eagleman, a contemporary neuroscientist, has conducted experiments showing how our perception of time can be altered by attention and novelty. He found that during high adrenaline events, our perception of time slows down, a phenomenon known as time dilation. Philip Zimbardo, a psychologist known for his work on time perspective, argues that our attitudes toward time, whether we focus on the past, present, or future, profoundly influence our behavior, happiness, and mental health. Example: imagine watching a thrilling movie versus waiting in line at the DMV. The same amount of time passes, but your experience of it is vastly different. In the movie, you're so engrossed that 2 hours can feel like 30 minutes, while the wait in line might make 30 minutes feel like 2 hours. This subjective experience of time is also influenced by culture. In Western societies, where efficiency and productivity are highly valued, time is often perceived as a scarce resource. In contrast, many indigenous cultures perceive time as more fluid, with a focus on the present moment and natural cycles. Time is not just a personal experience, it's deeply embedded in culture. Our third question asks, how is time understood across cultures? The way we perceive and value time varies dramatically depending on cultural background. Edward T. Hall, an anthropologist, introduced the concepts of monochronic and polychronic time orientations. In monochronic cultures, e.g., the US and Germany, time is seen as linear and segmented, something to be managed. In polychronic cultures, e.g., Latin America and the Middle East, time is more fluid, with an emphasis on relationships over schedules. Mahatma Gandhi reflected a cyclical view of time in his philosophy, influenced by Hindu beliefs. He saw time as a series of cycles, with each moment connected to the past and future, reflecting the concept of karma and the eternal return. Niels Bohr, a physicist known for his contributions to quantum mechanics, remarked on the cultural differences in understanding time, noting how Eastern philosophies often view time as an interconnected whole rather than a linear progression. Example, the Maya civilization, with its intricate calendar system, saw time as a series of cycles. Their long count calendar was used to track larger cycles of time, reflecting their belief in the repeating nature of history. This cyclical view of time influenced their rituals, agricultural practices, and even their architecture. In Japan, the concept of ma refers to the space or pause between events, emphasizing the importance of intervals and the natural flow of time. This cultural approach to time values the harmony and balance of actions within a given time, rather than simply the efficiency of completing tasks. Time has a profound impact on our emotions, shaping how we feel about the past, present, and future. This brings us to our fourth question: how does time affect our emotions? Our relationship with time is deeply emotional. The passage of time can evoke a wide range of feelings, from nostalgia to regret, from anticipation to anxiety. These emotions are often tied to our memories and expectations. Blaise Pascal, a French philosopher and mathematician, reflected on the emotional weight of time, stating, "We run carelessly to the precipice after we have put something before us to prevent us seeing it." He expressed the anxiety that comes with the awareness of time's passage and our own mortality. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, wrote about the role of time in finding meaning. In his book Man's Search for Meaning, he discussed how our perception of time, particularly during suffering, can be transformed by finding purpose, which alters our emotional response to the passage of time. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, explored how our memories and emotions are tied to our perception of time, especially in his work on the unconscious mind and its influence on behavior. Example, consider the concept of a midlife crisis. This period, often occurring between the ages of 40 and 60, is marked by a deep reflection on the passage of time and a re-evaluation of life's achievements and missed opportunities. The awareness of time running out can lead to significant emotional upheaval. Time-related stress is another key emotional aspect. Deadlines, for example, create a sense of urgency that can lead to stress and burnout. On the other hand, moments of mindfulness, where we focus on the present, can reduce stress and bring a sense of peace. Question 5. Time and memory. How are time and memory interconnected? Memory is our mind's way of keeping time, but how exactly are time and memory interconnected? In this section, we'll explore how our memories are formed, stored, and retrieved, and how this process creates a personal timeline. Henri Bergson argued that memory is not just a record of the past but a dynamic process that shapes our experience of the present. He introduced the concept of duration, la durée, where memory flows through time, constantly interacting with the present. Marcel Proust, a French novelist, famously explored the relationship between time and memory in his work In Search of Lost Time. Proust delved into how involuntary memories, triggered by sensory experiences like the taste of a madeleine, can bring the past vividly into the present, collapsing time. Elizabeth Loftus, a cognitive psychologist, has shown how memories are not fixed but can be altered over time, leading to the reconstruction of events. Her work on false memories demonstrates how our perception of time and past events can be distorted by suggestion and reinterpretation. Example, think of how we recall a childhood event. We don't just remember the facts, we also relive the emotions, sights, and sounds of that moment. This process of recollection creates a vivid, multidimensional experience that connects us to our past. However, each time we recall a memory, we might subtly alter it, leading to a version that differs from the original experience. Scientific perspective. Neuroscience reveals that the hippocampus, a small region in the brain, plays a critical role in the formation and retrieval of memories. Damage to this area can lead to severe memory loss, as seen in conditions like Alzheimer's disease, where the ability to form new memories is impaired. Question 6. Time and change. How does time relate to change? Time and change are inextricably linked, as many thinkers have observed. Heraclitus, the ancient Greek philosopher, famously stated, "Change is the only constant," emphasizing the continuous flow of time and its role in the perpetual transformation of the world around us. Charles Darwin, in his theory of evolution, demonstrated how time drives change in the natural world. His work showed that species evolve over long periods, with time acting as the canvas on which natural selection plays out. Stephen Hawking, the renowned physicist, explored time's relationship with change in the context of the universe's evolution. He discussed how time began with the Big Bang and how the expansion of the universe is tied to the flow of time, leading to the eventual heat death of the universe. Example: consider the life cycle of a butterfly. From an egg to a caterpillar, to a chrysalis, and finally to a butterfly, this transformation over time is a powerful symbol of change. Each stage is distinct, yet they are all interconnected through the flow of time. Philosophical perspective: Heraclitus's view on change challenges us to accept impermanence as a fundamental aspect of existence. Everything is in a constant state of flux, and resisting change is to resist the very nature of life itself. Question 7. The mystery of time: is time an illusion? The notion that time might be an illusion has been a point of contention among scientists and philosophers. Albert Einstein once remarked, "The distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion." His theory of relativity challenged the classical understanding of time as a fixed and universal flow, suggesting instead that time is intertwined with space and relative to the observer. Julian Barber, a contemporary physicist, argues in his book The End of Time that time does not exist as we perceive it. According to Barber, the universe is a collection of nows, each a separate and self-contained moment, with time being a convenient way to organize our experiences. Buddha: in Buddhist philosophy, time is often seen as an illusion, a concept created by the mind to make sense of the eternal present. This perspective challenges the conventional understanding of time as linear, offering a more cyclical and interconnected view of existence. Example: imagine reading a book. The entire story exists at once, with all its chapters and events, but you experience it page by page, moment by moment. This analogy helps us understand the block universe theory, where time is laid out like a book, and our consciousness moves through it. Creative perspective: artists and filmmakers have often explored the concept of time as an illusion. For instance, the movie Inception plays with the idea of different layers of time, where time moves at different speeds in different dream levels. This creative exploration challenges viewers to reconsider their perceptions of time and reality. As we've explored, time is much more than the hands on a clock or the changing of seasons. It's a concept that touches every aspect of our lives, from our memories to our emotions, from our cultural practices to our very understanding of reality. Whether time is an unstoppable force, a mental construct, or an illusion, one thing is certain: it's an integral part of what it means to be human. As we conclude this journey, we invite you to reflect on your own relationship with time. How do you perceive it? How does it shape your life? Perhaps time is less about measuring seconds and more about the moments that leave a lasting impact on our lives. Call to action: encourage viewers to share their thoughts in the comments and subscribe to the channel for more explorations into the mysteries of life.